what happens if you don't get the decision you want, what path can you then take, what action?
Well, there's still an appeal possible. If the decision will be positive for the trans community, it might be that the state goes into appeal. Of course, we don't know yet, but we have to wait and see. And then it will go to the highest level. Yes, please.
Hi, Elizabeth from the Malaysia Defender. You mentioned that Malaysia is one of the worst countries when it comes to transgender rights, and mainly because of the Sharia law. But what happens in other Islamic countries where there are Sharia laws as well?
Yes, thank you very much for that question. I should be very clear. What we see in Malaysia in comparison to other Muslim countries is that here these raids are taking place by the officials of the religious departments, and it's not an incident. They happen continuously over the years. There's a sweep, and many people are arrested, and then they select on the basis of the identity card who is Muslim or not, and then the people who are Muslim are taken to a lockup. We don't see that in such an orchestrated way by the government in other Muslim countries. Who else? Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Celine from Malta. After they are released from the lockups, what happened to them? Are they still harassed or?
Well, sometimes when the judge sentences them to a prison sentence, of course they have to go to prison. What we have documented in our report is that several transgender people have been arrested not 5 times, 10 times, or 15 times, but even 20 times. And that's simply because they are who they are. And so when you ask me what happens to transgender people after they serve their sentence, well, they can be arrested again the next day, because it's already dangerous to go outside when you're a trans woman, because you could be arrested.
Hi, I'm Zubairi from Limit Online. I was just wondering if the recommendations by Human Rights Watch, will you be presenting them officially to the federal and the state government in Malaysia?
Well, thank you for that question. We have been here, myself and my colleagues, we have been here from Sunday, and we try to get a lot of meetings with government officials. For instance, my colleagues had a meeting with the Attorney General's office last Monday morning. Unfortunately, the Attorney General had to cancel the meeting at the last moment, but they were able to have a meeting with the AG's chambers. Later on today, we will have a meeting with the Prime Minister's office to represent a report and to talk about these issues. A few days ago, together with the trans activists, the trans advocates, we went to Suhakam, the Human Rights Commission, and we had a wonderful discussion about the situation of transgender people here in Malaysia.
I've got one last question.
Yes, sure.
We're talking about law. How do you change attitudes? I mean, because it's really attitudes as well. People.
Well, it's wonderful that we get this question from somebody from the media. How do we change attitudes in society? Well, of course it's very important that people know about what's happening, that people know what does transgender mean, and that people can get familiar with personalized stories of transgender people. And unfortunately, you know, when the media reports about these kind of cases, it's often in a negative way or in a scandalous way. And so it's very important that transgender people can get the floor and can tell their own stories, and that people start understanding, hey, this could be my brother, my sister, my daughter, my son, my neighbor, my colleague. And so the perception now is that transgender people are sex workers. Well, I can tell you, we interviewed a lot of people for this report, and people also have regular jobs, although it's very difficult because of the employment situation. But when there is a lot of publicity, and when people report in a genuine way about trans issues, then the general public will get a different picture. Maybe Anisha, you would like to add?
Yes, in regards of how do you change the attitude of people out there, I totally agree, because the media does play a very important role. And even the issue of gender identity has been confused with sexuality and everything. People don't even know what's the difference about it. And not just that, I mean, even it's stated in the report itself that our very own Prime Minister did actually gave, for me, I would say, a hate speech towards transgender people, and that automatically creates a very hatred situation where it actually encourages hate crimes towards transgender people, and it is in the report.
Can I add a comment to that? My name is Kartini. To change the attitude of the people in Malaysia is that you need to change the system. The education system in Malaysia itself, if you look at it, we know the women are proper. What we know is about the heterosexual male and women. There's nothing about the other gender. I think what we need to do is that we need to look into our education system in terms of changing the attitude. You need to start in school, yeah, in terms of that. Because you need to create awareness of other gender. And adding to your questions that you comment, talking about the question that you asked about people being caught, you agreed, a lot of transgender do work also. But because of that, when they are caught during at night, and they have to go to work tomorrow, after they can't go to work, and they have to be terminated from their job. Back to your question, last one, there is other issues in other countries. You're talking about Iran. Yes, Iran do allow sex change, and Pakistan do allow sex change. Yeah, that is in their country.
I would like to add one more example, because she's really right. In the report, we documented a case of a waitress, and she was arrested in the evening, and she was forced to give a statement while she was under arrest. And her colleagues read her statement the next day in the newspaper, because she was paraded in front of the media.